You have a favorite Christian singer, and all of a sudden you feel good about a certain addictive fast food. Yeah. Guess who sang the commercial that's in the back of your mind when you go to buy it at the checkout counter? They study Americans like rats to increase consumption of their food products, and in doing so have more than doubled obesity and overweight in the United States.
This is unbelievable, because we have a health problem that's crowding $1.5 trillion. It's run away, and obesity is one of the major causative factors: heart disease, high blood pressure, so on.
Everything. And really, most of our medical problems today that are non-pediatric or non-geriatric stem from being overweight and obese. So as I studied it, I realized that the answer was an economic problem had caused being overweight and obese. As I studied it, I saw America ready for a revolution, a wellness revolution, and that there was a new industry emerging called a wellness industry. We spend $1.5 trillion on medicine, which is really the sickness industry.
That's right.
It's not really health, it's about when you get sick, they treat the symptoms of your disease. We currently spend, and that's what amazed me the most, $200 billion on wellness, fitness clubs, healthy foods, vitamins and supplements. Most of that didn't exist. When I ran the numbers, I could see that the $200 billion wellness industry, which is primarily today upper-class baby boomers who are consuming them. First thing someone does when they make money is try to get healthy.
Oh, yeah.
And they get out of the diet and kind of medical care most of us get, and they start getting healthier. And that this $200 billion, I projected, would grow to a $1 trillion wellness industry by 2010.
Well, look, are we finding ourselves, on the one hand, we're gorging on trans fatty acids and greasy hamburgers and greasy fries and carcinogenic products. On the other hand, we're out puffing away on treadmills and lifting weights. I mean, are the same people doing these things, or is it a totally different class of people?
It is really different people. And so many people who do get on the treadmills are not getting the right information. The problem is that the food industry controls, in effect, our television. Look at most commercials today for television shows are food companies.
Sure.
And they try to get their consumers to eat more and more of their existing foods. As the food industry focuses on those who are overweight, they make them more and more overweight. And then when someone says, I want to lose weight, I want to get healthy, they get misinformation out there because they've got this industry that controls our media that is constantly saying, how do I get you to eat more food?
What should people do to lose weight? What are the tips?
Well, I didn't write a book to come up with tips, but I came up with quite a few in doing my research.
All right.
The main one is really timing. From the time you're hungry, if you start eating food, your stomach doesn't tell your brain that you've now sated and had enough food until 15 minutes have passed. So you can see why fast food restaurants are so deadly, because you go in there hungry and you keep eating and eating and eating in less than 15 minutes, but it isn't until 15 minutes that your body knows you've had enough. When we used to eat with Grandma and they took time between each course, you naturally controlled the amount you eat because it took 15 minutes between courses, and that told your body to stop eating.
What supplements? People spending a lot of money on vitamins and stuff. Is there anything that people should be looking for?
The main thing they should be looking for is to see that their supplements are real. 1/3 of the supplements that you purchase today in the store are not in the bottle what says on the label, because supplements are an unregulated industry in this country. There are several companies that just buy supplements and rate them just for what's in the bottle, and most of the times what you're getting, or about half the times, you're not getting what's on the bottle. So you've got to find a brand that has in the bottle what's on the label.
The wellness revolution, how to make a fortune in the next trillion-dollar industry. Where do people make money in this thing?
Well, that's what I started to discover. I could see that there were 15 million Americans of 300 million were getting healthier as they aged. You're a great example about that, especially when we see you on television. As you get older, you're stronger, you're better fit. What's going on? It's people who have time to focus on it are seeking out the right products and services to make them healthy. And that's when I could see an emerging $1 trillion wellness industry. One of the most surprising parts of my research was to find that it already reached $200 billion. But if you think of what you now spend on supplements, on fitness, on weight training, and time and money that you never dreamed you even needed 20 years ago.
That's exactly right.
You are a very typical consumer of this upper crust that's becoming and will become the entire nation, I believe, as this new wellness industry emerges.
Well, boy, I hope you're right. But so, ladies and gentlemen, how you could A, be well, and B, make some money at the same time. This book, The Wellness Revolution, where you can get it? It's by Wiley Press. Is it available in bookstores?
Should be in every bookstore around the country.
Paul Zane.
Hi, I'm Matt Ketman with Time Magazine. I'm here today with Robert Kiyosaki. He is the best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. which has been translated into more than 50 languages and is the #1 personal finance book in the history of the world. Thank you for joining us today, Robert.
Thank you.
This question comes to us from A.J. Gupta from Grayslake, Illinois. If you did not have the rich dad in your life, what would you be doing today?
It's hard to say if I didn't have my rich dad because as a young kid, starting at probably about the age of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I really wanted to be rich. So I think number one is desire, and then you naturally seek your role models and teachers. And in my lifetime, I've had multiple rich dads. My rich dad was my best friend's father starting at the age of 9. And then today, I still seek mentors and wise men and wise women because that's how you get wiser, is by hanging out with smart people.
And this one comes to us from Lagos, Nigeria. What made you write Conspiracy of the Rich?
It goes back to why don't we have financial education in our schools? I mean, good question, right?
Right.
And how come the tax laws are different for different people? There's 4 things that make the most 90% of the people poor. Number 1 is taxes. 2 is debt, the college loans, house loans, car payments, credit cards. 3 is inflation. Everything goes up because taxes go up. It's not because things are more expensive. It's taxes. If I have to pay more taxes, I have to pass that on. And the 4th thing that makes people poor is a retirement plan, that 401k or the IRA or their SIP. I don't need a retirement plan because all of my assets produce income. So like I have 1,400 apartments. Every month I get a check. Why do I need a retirement plan? I have 8 oil wells. Every month I get a check.
Are there some people who should play it safe and do the traditional route and just pick up a house, pay the mortgage?
That's probably the most dangerous thing you can do today. What's happening in the Western world, in America, we're going to become a third world nation, rich and poor. That's it. The middle class is being wiped out. So the people in the middle, whoever's left in there, will be the ones paying the taxes, the debt, the inflation. The middle class is they're the pack mule.
Is there any way a government can help this, or is it really based on the individual to come up?
You have to decide which side of the fence you're on, rich or poor. Make up your mind.
Yeah.
Make up your mind. I made up my mind. It's rich dad, poor dad. I want to listen to my old man, PhD. The government will take care of me. You save your money. And as you're saving your money, the Federal Reserve is printing trillions of dollars. How stupid can you be? And invest your money for the long term in a well-diversified portfolio of mutual funds. Send it straight to Wall Street so that they can pay their brokers $10 million a year bonuses. How stupid does a person have to be? Wake up.
Do they teach you that in college-level economics or no?
Hell no. Are you kidding me? Absolutely not.
By design.
If you read Conspiracy of the Rich, 1903, John D. Rockefeller took over the financial education system by creating the General Education Board. And since then, the rich have controlled what is taught at schools.
This question comes to us from Tokyo. Jay Sienna asks, you always say that your poor dad forbade everyone to talk about money at the dinner table. Did you ever ask him why? And at your dinner table now, are people allowed to talk about money?
That's all I talk about is about money. Tell me something money does not affect. Does money affect education? Absolutely. If you have money, you can go to the best schools. Look at George Bush.
Right. This one comes from Laredo, Texas, from Steven San Ramon. When you and your wife were living out of your car, how did you remain so confident that you would be able to accumulate enough wealth to not only retire rich, but young as well?
Well, confidence comes from discipline and training. I think one of the best things that happened for me was I kept flunking out of school. And I realized it wasn't school that was a problem, it was a lack of discipline. And so that's one of the reasons that I went to military school. The military trains you that there's 4 strengths. There's mental strength, emotional strength, physical strength, and spiritual strength. So that's what kind of kept me going.
Is there a time to bail out on a project, though? When...
That's not in my vocabulary.
Yeah.
Look, I have an unfair advantage, I went to war. And at war, I'm alive because other guys died for me. When you see stuff like that, how can I quit? Most guys are just wimps, pussies, cowards. They don't have it. So they should get a job.
Muhammad Zafar asks, is it possible for a person with no money and few resources to still make a fortune? How?
Get off your butt. You have to get smart. You have to look for teachers. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like I said, you know, if you want to be a mechanic, you go